Committee on Government Operations to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Each member is acknowledging that they are attending the meeting via Zoom and that they are located in Wayne County, Michigan, unless otherwise stated when I call your name. Commissioner Kniezek.
Here.
Commissioner Clark-Coleman.
Here.
Commissioner Basham.
Here.
Commissioner Killeen.
Here.
Chair Dobb.
Here, but I am in Lansing, Michigan.
You have a quorum present.
Thank you. Next item.
B, Chairwoman's remarks.
I have none. Next item, please.
C, approval of the November 10th, 2021 meeting minutes.
Move approval.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Is there any discussion on the meeting minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next item, please.
Item 1, for unfinished business, requesting commission approval of a retroactive 3-year comparable source professional services contract with a 1-year option to renew with Source Blue.
Okay, so we have finally gotten all of the information back on this contract. Is there someone from the administration who would like to speak on this and kind of give us a refresher on this contract, what it is?
Yes, Carter Fisher with Wayne County Corporation Council. Yeah, so this is a contract for the CJC project. It's with a company that does a lot of procurement work for projects of this size. And it, because we're talking about such a massive new complex in terms of just the number of people that will be working there and living there full time, we felt that it was necessary to go out and get a separate procurement team to handle this project and tackle some things that maybe our in-house procurement just didn't have the bandwidth to do. So they'll be going out and procuring furniture, fixtures, and equipment for the CJC, particularly office furniture and things of that nature, but really for furniture as the building needs it, or as the buildings need them around the complex. So that's what this agreement is for. Okay,
thank you. So I've got a couple questions, and then I'll open it up to everyone else. So we've got a kind of a timeline on this. According to my notes, this contract came to the commission in September 20th. It came to this committee on October 13th, and we voted to. Did we vote to table it, pass it on October 13th because we did not have all of the information that we needed. Now we're on November 30th here. We're almost to December. Why did it take so long to get us the information that is required for a contract to vote? Is this how Source Blue does business?
No, it's not a Source Blue issue per se. There were a number of things that sort of delayed the contract getting back through TCM, including, we were asked, and fairly so, we were asked some questions about the history of this agreement. This agreement is years in the making, and Source Blue was actually previously contracted under ROC. We had to go back and dig through both our notes and theirs from years ago to answer some of the questions that were posed to us. And while that was sort of in the balance, the insurance certificate that Source Blue had submitted to us actually expired. So before we could resubmit to TCM, we had to go back and get a new certificate of insurance through for Source Blue, and then go through all the approval processes that are required on the executive side to get the contract back through TCM. So a combination of things, just some questions that were difficult to answer in terms of a complex sort of transaction. The agreement itself is our standard agreement, but because of the nature of the original agreement that they had with ROC, as well as sort of the long-term and broad scope of the project that we're talking about. And again, the insurance certificate expiring sort of set us back in more ways than we would have liked to have been.
Okay. Now, speaking of rock, there's a note that the county will owe Source Blue $243,800 because of work that, excuse me, that was done prior, while Source Blue is working for Rock. So can you explain why the county would pay for that and not Rock?
So the way that FF&E was originally structured in the sort of global agreement between us and Rock was that the county would have certain items of FF&E that the county would purchase, and Rock would have a budget for FF&E that Rock would purchase, and really both of those sets of funds were being paid for by the county, but one was going to be handled solely by Rock and one was going to be done at the county's discretion. When we amended one of the agreements, when we amended the overall agreement with Rock, one of the amendments made it so that Rock's budget, which had just been a line item budget that was pretty strict about what they needed to purchase on our behalf, would be changed to an allowance that the county would have more control over. The budget would still be paid out of, at that time, the shared bank account between Rock and the county, but the county would now be able to direct Rock and or its procurement team, in this instance, Source Blue, on what to procure and how. And we made that agreement because we thought it would give us more flexibility in terms of purchasing the items that we needed and enable us to get better feedback from our end users about what they needed. So when the contract was switched to make it the FF&E on Rock's end an allowance, we also that's when we started pursuing a contract with Source Blue, again, so that the county could have better and more direct control over how that money was spent, among other benefits to the county, including sales tax savings. So we've, regardless of who paid this money, it was really coming out of county funds, whether Rock had paid the money or whether the county had paid the money. But now that we've switched our agreement so that we're in control of Rock's allowance as well, it will come out of county funds regardless. They did this work on behalf of the project, and so that's why there's an item in the agreement about paying for services rendered while they were under contract with Rock.
Okay. So one other item that I wanted to ask about is the regarding the ethics disclosure. We didn't receive the business information questionnaire. Can you speak to that, why that was not included?
I'm not sure why that was not included. I thought that we had included it, to be honest with you, but I will check with our folks, and I'm not sure if anyone is on the call who is involved in processing this through TCM, but I will check back.
Yes, I'm sorry, Victoria Ennis Edwards, Human Relations Business Inclusion Director. I was assisting Carter and James Heath with that. I believe that is actually a scanning oversight where it probably did not get picked up. I will literally start making a phone call right now because we did get that item. I know that was requested and didn't show up one time before. We did receive that item and it was scanned up. So let me make some phone calls now to see what's going on and make sure that can be forwarded on to you. But we did have that item.
Okay, great. I've just got one other question for me. So the amount is not to exceed $111 million. That Source Blue will receive a cost of services fee capped at $850,000. So can you explain the cost of services fee?
So just to clarify real quick, it's an $11 million contract. So the cost of services fee is actually what we're paying Source Blue to procure these items. We have about a little over a $10 million budget with which to procure items. And then the remainder of that $11 million contract, should they procure all those items, will go into a cost of services fee. So Source Blue is not marking up the items that they're selling to us at all. They're actually doing this on an open book basis so that we can look at all their purchases as they're making them. And so the cost of services fee is to pay them for their procurement services.
Okay. First, I want to go to our auditor general, and then I just want to check with our legal counsel to see if they have any concerns, and then I'll go to commissioners. But Marcy, I know last time we had some concerns with the auditing clause, and I think that's been taken care of, but I just want to check with you. Are you upset on that?
Sure, Marcy Carl, Auditor General, to the Chair. It's my understanding that all the concerns we had related to the audit clause have been addressed.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. And then Felicia, are you on the call? Do you have any legal concerns regarding this contract?
So through the chair, one of the concerns that we initially mentioned on October 13th, when this came before the body originally, was the audit provision. That has been addressed. In addition to that, there was some discussion regarding the tax and how the county could potentially receive a savings of $350,000 by going through Source Blue. And Corporation Counsel was seeking outside advice from tax counsel. And we did get some information related to that. And I don't know if Carter, if you can just explain that process and how the county could potentially make a savings from a tax perspective, a savings on tax by using Source Blue. If you can maybe explain and address that for the committee.
Sure. And so part of the reason that we wanted to contract directly with Source Blue is that we believe, and we've talked with tax counsel about this extensively, and tax counsel has advised us that there is the county sales tax exemption would apply to purchases made directly by the county via Source Blue. So had this contract gone through ROC, as it was initially set to do, ROC would have had to pay sales tax on all the items purchased for this project. They do not have a sales tax exemption, as the county does. In this instance, our tax advisor has told us that because Source Blue is giving us these products without a markup, they're essentially acting as a wholesaler, and that therefore the county's tax exemption would apply to these items. And so that's how we project the sales tax saving that's been referenced, at this meeting and in our letter submitting this agreement.
Commission Counsel, do you have any other?
No, so thank you, Carter, for that. So 2 other comments, Madam Chair, just so the committee is aware. So if this contract is approved, that means that no contract for FF&E for the jail will potentially come through this body. Source Blue will procure that. They will work with the administration, and this body will not see those contracts or those items totaling a little over $10 million potentially will not come back here. Other than that, I'll say that you mentioned how, and I believe all of the staff analysis mentions that Source Blue has already incurred costs up to $243,000 for FF&E. As Carter mentioned, they started that process through ROC. So if the county approves this, the county will have to pay a minimum of $243,000 or owe $243,000 to Source Blue. Unlike other contracts where we talk about retroactive, this cost was incurred when Source Blue was working with ROC. It's not a situation where the county incurred this cost directly and then they're coming to this body for approval. The way the project was originally structured, as Carter mentioned, was that ROC was responsible for FF&E. Therefore, ROC engaged Source Blue and costs were incurred. So I just wanted to make that distinction. It's different than the normal situation where we have costs that's already been incurred when the contract comes to the body, because this cost was incurred through ROC and not directly through the county. But no matter what, whether this contract is approved or rejected, Source Blue will get that money, that $243,000. So I wanted to make that distinction. That's all I have, Madam Chair, unless you have questions.
No, I'm all set. Thank you. All right, commissioners, does anyone have any questions or concerns on this item?
Yeah, Ray does.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'm using my iPad today and this is the first time I've been on Zoom on my iPad. So if you can just speak up, instead of using the hand function, let me know. Commissioner
I'm
Bash?
speaking up, and I do
Okay.
have the hand raised too.
Okay, go ahead.
And I don't mind being a skunk at the picnic. And James' earlier comments talked about the county's discretion. Part of this, and I got a little bit of history on this, and you know, the county had a failed jail project before in the millions and millions of dollars. And the commission has a role to play, and there's 15 of us, and it's not based on what I want to do, but I'm one of 15 commissioners. So when you talk about in your earlier statements, the county's discretion, you know, the administration is just not the county in itself. It has to come in front of the commission, in my opinion. And the role of the commission is pretty well, you know, if you want to read about what the role of the commission is, it's there, it's in writing. The 243,000 that our commission counsel pointed out was before the commission. You know, if we don't get it done through the commission, we just go ahead and charge the 243. I've got problems with, there's red flags all over that one. The other thing too, when you have time constraints, we have a process called exigent approval, and the administration can always apply the exigent approval if they have issues. And I know this is a big issue, a complex issue, but anyway, the thing of it is, there is a process that's being, in my opinion, ignored. And then we're talking about going ahead and we vote on this. It gives you authority without coming through the commission, and they talk about the dollar amount stated of dealing with $10 million and not coming in front of the commission. And if we ever see it, it's after the fact. So there's a lot more questions that I have than that have answers. So I'm quite frankly not happy that, and I'm the one that raised the comment about the vendor getting a percentage of what he gets on items that's being bought for the new jail. So there's and I'm willing to spend the time, whatever time it takes, to try to get to the bottom of things. And I don't think the commission had enough information when they come in front of us the last time to actually do a proper vote on this. So I'm really not looking for questions other than I'm just telling you what my thoughts are and why I'll be voting like I'll be probably voting.
Okay, thank you. Any other commissioners?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to go back to Commission Counsel. Counselor, with regards, Counselor Johnson, with regards to picking up the payment, the 200 and whatever thousand, when this contract was with ROC and coming to us, you've described it accurately. Do you have any problem that somehow that is not the right way to do things? There's something wrong with that, moving it back to the county?
Through the chair. So the original arrangement with ROC allowed ROC to essentially handle the jail project without most items coming back here to the commission.
Right.
Those items included the FF&E. So ROC began that process with their selected vendor, which the county was not a part of, officially anyway, formally, Source Blue. Now that the county's making an attempt to save money with regards to taxes and they want to move that item back to the county, it really is just, I think the only benefit really is potentially a financial benefit to the county for saving money. No matter what FF&E will still need to be procured. If it's not procured through the county, through Source Blue, it'll likely go back to Rock, and Rock will continue to use Source Blue. So I don't have any particular concerns related to that process per se.
Okay, yeah, thanks for that. And one other thing, Council, you mentioned with this contract coming back to the county, stuff would just be purchased and it would never come before the commission. How many things in this contract for the jail are in a similar situation where stuff will be procured for the new jail complex and it will never come before the commission? Is there things beyond the 10 million we're discussing here, the potential 10 million?
So if I recall the original deal, most items would have been purchased and handled directly through Rock without having to come back through the county or the procurement process. But Carter may be able to answer that question a little better than me to let you know if there are any other outstanding items that potentially may be coming back through the county. I don't know, Carter, if you can respond to that.
Sure.
And can you give us your title again, sir, please?
Sorry, Assistant Corporation Counsel with Wayne County.
Thank
So Felicia is right that the structure of the original deal meant that most items of furniture, fixtures, and equipment would have been procured by Rock without coming back for commission approval. There will be other contracts that will come for commission approval, sort of related to FF&E items like I believe courtroom monitors and things of that nature will come back to the commission. We have a contract that we're working on now with the vendor that does Frank Murphy and our other courts to try to move over as much as we can and then get new equipment as we need to. So there will be contracts of that nature, but they will come through the commission. I don't believe that there will be another contract of this or items of this magnitude that are procured, at least on a county basis, that don't come through the commission. Obviously, Rock purchases its own construction equipment and those sorts of items without those contracts coming through the commission. And so the contracts that they do from a building perspective with subcontractors don't come back here. But pretty much if it's procured by the county or on behalf of the county, especially as it relates to sort of the final finishing of the building, that will come through the commission and you will see those contracts for approval.
Okay, but this is because we are taking this back from Rock.
Correct.
This existing contract. That's why this one works this way without, correct. And there's no other contract out there that is like this that the county has right now.
We are not taking back anything else from Rock where they would have done items without commission approval, except that we did buy out Rock's interest in operating the parking lots.
Yes, we did.
At the county. But to the extent that we need another operator for those lots, that contract will come through the commission as well.
And that was a good move, by the way. Thank you very much, Counselor. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
I do have a follow-up question. So I just want to make sure that I'm understanding all of this correctly. If the commission does not approve this contract, then procurement for FF&E will go back to Rock and they will probably use Source Blue. And is that what will happen? Or will the county procure FF&E on its own?
So I can't speak for how Rock will handle procurement going forward. We still would control the allowance that they have access to, but they would ultimately be responsible for executing any procurement contracts, and they would, because they already had an agreement in place to pay Source Blue, have to pay that $243,000 out of project funds to Source Blue. So that $243,000 will be paid either by the county via this contract or by Rock via the funds that they currently have at their disposal for FF&E. I imagine that they probably would try to use Source Blue to procure the rest of the FF&E that would be their responsibility. And for any items that fell to the county, we would probably try to procure them through our own procurement department. But again, we're not sure that how much bandwidth procurement has to execute a project of this size.
Mhm. Okay. All right, that's all I have. Commissioner Colleen, do you have a follow-up question?
No, I don't have a question, Madam Chair, but I will move this item for approval.
Commissioner Clark Coleman, are you supporting? You're on mute. I saw you.
Yes, I'll support it.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Are there any further questions or discussion on this item? Okay, hearing none. Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Kniezek,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Basham,
No.
Commissioner Colleen,
Aye.
Chair Dobb.
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item 1, under new business, communication from Sue Hammoud, Deputy Corporation Counsel, forwarding the Department of Corporation Counsel's outside legal services report for the 2020 and 2021 fiscal years.
Okay, I believe we have Ms. Hammoud with us today. Is there anything that you want to speak to on this report?
Good afternoon, through the chair, Sue Hammoud, Deputy Corporation Counsel. And we're just forwarding the reports as required by ordinance. I just do want to make a notation that the reason the commission has 2 reports as opposed to 1 is amidst the chaos of COVID last year, we did not submit the report for 1920, so we are submitting both of them 1920 and 2021 to you at this time.
Of 2020, you mean?
Yeah.
You said, I think you said 1920.
1920 and 2021.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions on this item? Please just speak up. I don't know how to see hands.
I'll move to receive and file, Madam Chair.
I'll support it.
All right, it's been moved and supported. This is a receive and file, so we'll just do a voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next item.
Item 2 on the addenda, requesting commission approval of a retroactive intergovernmental agreement with the Wayne County Airport Authority.
All right, is someone here from the Airport Authority or administration just to explain what this IGA is and also why it's retroactive?
Yes, through the chair, Victoria Ennis Edwards, Director of Wayne County's Human Relation Business Inclusion Division. This is an intergovernmental agreement that we have with the Airport Authority to be their certifying agency. It's retro because we literally had to switch the budgeting, and I'll explain that in a minute, so it took longer. We started in July negotiating this. I did not get the final signed agreement from them, as you'll see, until the 28th, unfortunately, of October. While it is retro, why it is different is they are paying us for a service and the funding never stopped. Because the funding comes from US DOT, FAA, the airport is required to have this program. So it's very much so a gentleman's agreement in that it does not stop, because the penalties for them, excuse me, to stop this program would be exorbitant. So I do apologize that it was late getting through the system. However, we've been able to negotiate, and you'll see it's a little bit different. It's 27 months because the Airport Authority changed their fiscal year. That was part of it. We were normally on the same fiscal year. They're now on a calendar year. So we've got almost a little bit of a tail. So you've got October, November, and December. Those are the extra 3 months. So that's what took us a little bit longer to try to pivot it. But we did start talking in July. My apologies that it is late, but this will go October 1st, 2021. And it'll take us all the way through December 31st, 2023. And we will continue to be the certifying agency for the airport.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions?
Yeah, I just want to make a comment on it. I think that this is a very good deal for Wayne County. That the airport is using and paying the county for this service that Ms. Ennis provides, such a great service. So I think that this is a good deal. I'm very impressed with this, and it's a good deal for both the airport and for Wayne County. So that's all I want to say.
Would you like to move just to?
I will
approve?
move it. Yes, I will.
Colleen supports.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Knezek,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark-Holman,
Yes.
Commissioner Basham,
Yes.
Commissioner Colleen,
Aye.
Chair Dobb,
Yes, motion passes. Next item.
Thank you.
F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
I have none. Next item.
Public comments,
Did we receive any emails?
no emails.
All right, and could you please unmute all of the lines?
Lines have been unmuted.
Is there anyone from the public who wishes to address the Committee on Government Operations? If there's anyone who wishes to make a public comment, you can just go ahead and speak. You have 3 minutes. Last call for public comments. All right, I hear no public comments, so we'll move on to the next item.
Adjournment.
So moved.
Support that.
We have a motion and support for adjournment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are now adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you. You
Thank you,
too.
Madam Chair.